Hello. Somebody asked me about fear, so we talked a bit about fears, and it made me think, and I wanted to make a video on fears. So, quite a few years ago, I did some trips, some excursions on the Danube River via kayak. So, I traveled with the kayak for a few kilometers, I think maybe 20, 30, something like this. It was more than one time. I'm not sure if it was 2 times or 3 times, but I guess it was, if I remember correctly, it was 3 times. And the first time I went in kayaking to do kayaking, the first time I went there, I was in a double kayak. So I was with someone, and from time to time we were bouncing through to other kayaks. So we paddled, and at some point we were bouncing in a kayak. And because we were two, the kayak was very stable. It didn't move almost at all. So this was the first time I did kayaking on the Danube. The second time I was more experienced, thus the organizer gave me a single kayak. I thought, okay, that's fine. And during that trip I invited some of my friends, and 2 of my friends were in a kayak. And at some point, so even though I was a bit more experienced, I still had trouble turning and correctly directing the kayak. Okay, so I was heading towards them, and I tried to paddle, but I didn't stress myself that much. I saw that I was going to hit them, but I knew from experience that the kayak was very stable. And my friends said, "Look, you will bump right into us." And I said to them, "Oh, there's no," and I turned. So I didn't finish the sentence. "There's no problem. It's very stable." I did something like that. I didn't finish the sentence, and the kayak turned upside down. I think so. It was quite interesting. I got into water. My belongings got water. They got humidity, and my tent and so on. So I had to find some solutions to sleep and so on. So it was a 2-day excursion. We were leaving from one place, paddling for some 10-20 kilometers, something like that. Then spend the night on island, then paddle again to get to the destination. So it wasn't 2 days from dusk till dawn, but pretty much because it wasn't in Bucharest, and the whole experience generally took around 2 days, even though not 2 days paddling. As a side note, the first time I did it, I had almost no sun protection, and I kept being amazed. Oh, they are wearing hats. Why would they do this? Oh, look, sunglasses. Do you need them? And sunscreen. They were wearing sunscreen. Do you need sunscreen? Well, why do you need sunscreen? And things like that. So when I got home after 2 days, my face was swollen so much. Got swollen like huge. I had a huge, reaction to the sun. My face was like you could barely see my eyes. It was I looked very okay, swollen, no, something like that. Big. I look big. Okay. The thing I think I feared. So at some point I was in a kayak, and I was very afraid. So things to be afraid in a kayak. There were other boats on the Danube, and most of them were careful. But I think what I feared the most was the lack of control and the possibility of dying. So it's very unlikely you will die, but it's a possibility, and it's a higher risk than if you would walk on the street, I think. So there were some vortexes from time to time, and there were boats, and okay, I had the life vest, but you are on the Danube with a small kayak. Okay. So I was a bit afraid, and I'm also afraid when I I'm, for example, when I cross a bridge, even though the bridge is safe and there are I don't know like I don't know the term balustrade în română, some things at the edges of the river when you make sure you don't fall. Okay, and so there was. I once went to. So this is. It was on a mountain, but beneath that mountain were like caves and so on. So to get from the entrance to the actual cave, you had to descend some stairs, but those stairs were. Accidents could happen, let's say like this, and you went by some stairs that look fragile at the edge of mountain, and I was very, very scared. The thing is, I was with a group, there were lots of people. At some point I wanted to turn back, but I couldn't because there were lots of people, and when I got up I was like very happy to finally end it, but so I don't think it was a real danger of dying, but I was afraid of lacking control, and I was afraid of dying, of course. But when you walk each day at the street, okay, you imagine, okay, well, nothing bad could happen, and so on. But you don't cross bridges all the time, and I don't go on stairways that are very abrupt, and I don't do kayaking each day on the Danube, so, okay. I remember on the Danube there was one person who told their son, I will beat you. He was joking, but half joking. I will beat you if not, I will hit you and beat you, okay, if you are afraid. So he was trying to motivate his son. I don't think he would have hit him, but he was trying to motivate not to be afraid. And I was so scared. I was like, I'm on a kayak, so on. And that guy told his son, I will beat you if you are afraid. He actually used a more powerful word with a bit of swearing. And I kept remembering, oh look, this kid, he's like 9 or 10 or something like that, and he is much braver than I am. Come to think of it, this fear of death, of the constant trying, okay, I want everything to be, I can go very deep into this. And why are you afraid? Why do you need everything to have a uniform formation? Why does it all need to be clear and structured, and everything needs to have a certain logic? Why do you need this? And I could get more into this, but for the time being, let's say from time to time I am scared. Okay, thank you for watching this. Not this, but this.